Alright guys, I'm going to be demonstrating how to do certain things like hiding, sorting, filtering, grouping, charting, and then pivot tables. So let's go ahead and start with grouping. If we open up Excel and go to the data tab, we're going to have group, ungroup, and subtotal. I'm going to avoid subtotal for now. It's not super useful in what we'll be doing today, but we'll focus on group and ungroup. Here we have all the time travel of Doctor Who. Doctor Who gets in a TARDIS and flies from time to time all around the universe. These are a collection of his travels through all the seasons, and there are quite a few. So I did not create this document. I found it on the internet, and I think it'll be really good to demonstrate what we're trying to do with Excel. So they're organized by season, and then by the actor who played the Doctor, and then by the episode title. They also have the time that he leaves in each episode and the time that he arrives. So because it's a time travel show, he can go from the future to the past, from the past to the future. He can go in between planets and all around. So this gives us a lot of data to sort by, a lot of data to manipulate. Let's start with grouping. If we want to group together all the things in season 1 so that we can collapse them later, we would highlight everything under season 1 and then hit group. The reason why we don't actually highlight season 1 as well is when we minimize this, we want to be able to have a title above what we're grouping so that we know when we expand this what we can expect. I'll go ahead and demonstrate grouping all under season 2 and season 3 and season 4. So now if we collapse all these, we could see that here's season 2, and if we wanted to expand it, it's a little bit tricky, but this is the top one, so this is actually going to expand season 1. This is the second one, so that'll expand season 2, and it'll put the collapse down here. A lot of people, because the way it lines up visually, this can be very confusing. So if you try to expand season 4, this would actually expand season 3, and then if you try to expand it, it would keep expanding up. I'm going to go ahead and expand them all back out, and then ungroup all of these sections. Accidentally hit subtotal. Let me do that again. I'm going to ungroup all of these sections. The next thing I'm going to demonstrate is filtering. That's also in the data tab. When you click filter, it automatically assumes that the top row is the title of the information below. So if you click on this drop down, you can see all the different possibilities in the row below. If you want to filter and make it so that it doesn't show any of those seasons, then going to unselect all and just select it by episode number. Oh, I'm sorry, that wasn't episode number, that was Doctor Who number. So, as you can see, the first Doctor was played by Hartnell, the second was Troughton, all the way down to the current Doctor, who is the 11th, and that is played by a man named Matt Smith. So, if you look at these numbers, you'll notice that everywhere that there was a season gap, there is now a missing space. So this goes from 92 to 94. What's really nice about this is when we filter, it's still there, but it allows us to select all the data and copy it as if those sections weren't there. So you see it copies around those things that we filtered out. Now we're going to create a new worksheet, and we're going to paste this data in. So this data does not have the gaps that the previous one had. For instance, if we scroll up to the top, here's the first gap. This goes from 10 to 12. This sheet instead goes 10, 11, 12. It just pasted over those gaps. This is a really good way to pull information out so that we can further manipulate it without having to worry about highlighting certain sections and copying them one by one. I'm going to unfilter, and we see that the season headings are all still here. I'm going to go to my sheet 2, and I'm going to rename it sorting sheet, and I'll demonstrate some sorting techniques. Right now, these are obviously sorted by doctor number and then by episode number second. They're also sorted by seasons, as we saw here. Let's instead sort by the destination of the doctor each time. So if we click sort, it's going to highlight all of our data, and it's going to give us a few options. We can select which column to sort from. We can sort by values or cell color or font color. Sorting by cell color is useful if we have conditional formatting, and I'll demonstrate that in a little bit. And we can choose either Z to A or A to Z. I'm going to sort A to Z, and I'm going to sort by the to date. And so this is going to sort based on smallest to largest. So it automatically updated A to Z to smallest to largest. So I'm going to sort. And when this spreadsheet was made, it had some numbers formatted as text, and it had some numbers formatted as numbers. So you'll see this option. Do we want to sort anything that looks like a number as a number? Yes, that is what we want, because idealistically, all these numbers would have been created as numbers and not as text. But the ones you can tell are sorted as numbers are the ones that have commas in it. And typically we don't have commas in our date system, so I can see what the appeal was to sort it, or to input it as a string rather than a number. Anyway, when we sort it, we want to sort anything that looks like a number as a number. So you can see here that the latest time Doctor Who ever went to was 13 million BC. And the furthest time that he ever went to was a very large number that I'm not going to guess at. I think it's over 1 trillion. So 100 quadrillion. Very, very far in the future. And then here is kind of our normal continuum. So 2012 and 2011. These are all the dates that the Doctor traveled to. When we sort from, we're going to get kind of a similar date range, because if he traveled to, his next travel would be from there. But at the same time, it's going to switch up the order because it occurred in different episodes. So let's go ahead and sort based on the from column. So see, it switched up the order, and now we have the latest leaving date, and this is another, the date, the really late date came all the way down here again. We can also sort based on what planet they went to. So let's have a look at what that looks like. So we're going to sort by the planet, and we're going to sort on values A to Z. And that gives us a good idea that most of the time he visited, it was on Earth. There are a few other recurring things, but Earth dominates the place that he visits. So here it lists all the different planets he went. Here it's just in outer space, but a majority of these are on Earth. I'm going to sort again by Doctor Who season. Ooh, I think that actually means the doctor number. So another way we can sort is to just hit the right click and then select sort A to Z, and it'll automatically expand the section for us. And then I'm going to sort on the episode numbers after that. So when I sorted on the episode numbers, you can see that the old seasons with Hartnell are now mixed with the new seasons of Smith. So let me again sort by the Doctor Who number. I mentioned pivot tables, so let me go ahead and try to demonstrate that now. If you select all of your data, you go to the Insert tab and then Insert a Pivot Table. We're going to create a new worksheet, and it's going to automatically fill in the table that we are the range that we selected here. And now this is the pivot table over here, but we control it with these fields. So we can see if we start with the Doctor Actor, it lists all of the actors that have played the Doctor. And then if we do Planet, we can show each of the planets that each of the Doctors went to. And you can see most of them went to Earth, but there are a few that only went to Earth. There are a few that went to space. And you can then do, you can sort by sublocation and location. So this might be better explained with numerical data, but you can use the pivot table to kind of arrange your data based on certain things. So if we start with planets and then we do the Doctor Actor, we can see which doctors have been to Earth, which ones have been to Earth and other planets, planet Necros. We can easily sort it by whatever we click first, and then sorting it by the other columns as we click them. So let's do Doctor Actor again, and we'll do from and then to. So if we wanted to see Ecclesiastes, we can see every time he left from 1883, he went to 2005, but he left from 2005 3 different times and went to 1987, 2006, and a very large number that starts with 5. Alright, and that is pivot tables. I'm going to exit out of this and go back to our sorting sheet. I'm going to show you one final thing. If we wanted to hide a column but not make it disappear, we can right click, and instead of deleting it, we can hide it. And that way we don't have to worry that it's gone, we just don't have to look at it. If we wanted to unhide, we can shift select. So you'd select the F column and then shift select the J column. It'll select everything in between. I'm going to select unhide. Note if we hide these 3 again, and we just control select these, it will not unhide the columns. We have to shift select them. Alright, go ahead and review hiding, sorting, filtering, grouping, and pivot tables. The next video will cover some things such as conditional formatting and charting.